Good morning, San Diego. Welcome to Homefront. I'm your host, Eve Nasby, in studio with the one and only AJ Brooks. AJ, we are going to have a great show today.
It's a fantastic show. We got a lot of people lined up.
We do. We have Tony Teravainen. He is from the Enlisted Project, and he's going to talk about how many military families struggle financially, and he has been there, and so he helps those families get a strong foundation financially. You've got some great guests, too.
We have some fantastic guests. We have Michael Taylor. He's on the board of the Old Globe Theater. He's also a professional archaeologist, a former drill instructor. He sounds like Indiana Jones.
He does, really.
Yeah.
I can't wait. And then we've got some real estate folks coming up as well to talk about our house of the week.
We have Joel and we have Durrell Thomas. They're going to be talking about an opportunity to build wealth through homeownership here in America's finest city.
Yeah, it's going to be a great show.
We also have Jim Shelley, who was in business for 35 years and then got into the filmmaking business late in life.
Well, that would be right up your alley since you're an actor as well, in addition to doing this show and your Marine stint.
I dabble.
You dabble. Well, let's get this show started.
Here on Homefront. Welcome back. I'm your host, AJ Brooks. Here in the Homefront Heroes segment, we have a great guest, Michael Taylor. Michael's a professional archaeologist, a former Marine infantryman and drill instructor. I think one of the most interesting people we've ever had on the show.
Thank you.
Michael, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, this is probably a little uncomfortable for you because you have a program where you're on the other side interviewing guests. Is that right?
That's right. That's right. It's usually much easier to be on that side.
Well, the light's on you this time. It's called Theater Corners, your program, right?
Correct. Yes, it is.
So with that lead-in, a native son of Alabama who joined the infantry, ended up as a drill instructor, got a degree from Columbia, an Ivy League university in archaeology and anthropology. Is that right?
Correct. Correct.
Everyone probably pictures Indiana Jones. How did you end up in the theater world?
Well, I ended up in the theater world. I've been a fan of theater for a long time. The passion for theater started when I was a kid. But last year, I was voted to be a member of the board at the Old Globe Theater here in San Diego. Yes, yes, it very much is. I mean, this is like the 5th largest regional theater in the country, yes.
Now, my mom grew up in Alabama, and I know you're from Alabama. She told me as a young girl, her grandparents had taken her to the Fox Theater in Atlanta. And I think when you and I were speaking in the green room, you said your mom had taken you to see Guys and Dolls. Is that right?
Yes, yes. When I was 9 years old, seeing Guys and Dolls. And up until that point, all my consumption of entertainment was from, a one-dimensional source, television. And so going to that particular performance, it was transformational. I'm in there seeing entertainment for the first time in this three-dimensional format, and I've been hooked ever since. It was an incredible experience.
So we're on television talking about live theater. And one of the things that you try to do is bring that energy in theater and get people closer to the actual entertainers. Now, your program is called Theater Corner, and you interview people that are here in San Diego. When people think of San Diego, they think of Comic-Con and the military and craft brewing. They don't think of the vibrant arts community we have, and there's some real talent that comes through the La Jolla Playhouse and the Old Globe.
Oh, very much so. If one were to look at our theater series, they would see interviews with Hal Linden,
right. Barney Miller.
Barney Miller, for goodness sakes, and Donald Faison from Scrubs and Clueless. And so, yeah, it's some amazing talent that comes in through the globe.
We have a mutual friend who's also Marine. You and I both have an Alabama connection. We both have a Marine Corps connection. But we also have an arts connection. A mutual friend of ours, Maurice DeCall. You had him on the show as well.
Yes, I did. I had Maurice DeCall on the show as a fellow Marine veteran, fellow Columbian alumnus. And he's an incredible guy. He's a very first artist in residence at TCG in New York. And so, yeah, it was a pleasure to be able to sit down with him and talk about the amazing thing he's doing with the veterans.
He has such a great, calm speaking voice. I'm sure it was fun for you to get someone who's used to being behind the scenes on camera like Maurice.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, he was one of the people that was he made it easy. He made my job very easy.
So as a board member for the Old Globe, you encourage people who are usually underserved by live theater to participate in live theater, not just in the Playhouse or in the theater, but out in the community. You have theater that goes out into the community. If people want to come into the theater, where can they learn about upcoming shows and productions?
They can go to the Old Globe website, and it's easy to find. You can do a search on Google and go to it, and everything's laid out. The next show coming up is The Old Man and the Old Moon.
The Old Man and the Old Moon.
Yes.
And as I understand, I haven't seen this show. It's from what, Pigpen?
Pigpen Theater. Yes, they're bringing that to the Globe as a collaboration. It's going to be quite funny, quite entertaining, lots of music. There's even a banjo there, so fun for all.
Now, if someone has never been to live theater here in San Diego, you have the Old Globe, you have the La Jolla Playhouse, but there's all kinds of other smaller community theaters. Obviously, you represent the Old Globe as a member of the board, but you encourage people to get out there and just see theater in person, right? Oh,
certainly. And then there's a case where some people, for whatever reason, can't make it to the theater. So one thing the Old Globe does through their arts engagement program, they take theater to the community for folks that can't make it in. And a lot of times, and it's usually a Shakespearean play, give them a little taste of theater, and a lot of times that's the very first experience for a lot of those folks who've never been in the theater. So it gets people excited, and Globe is doing what they should do. They're here to serve the community.
That's right.
Maybe all the community can't make it to the Globe, and so they take the Globe out to them, and it's a beautiful thing. It's really quite wonderful.
You and I were both born in the 20th century, and we're in the 21st century. But a lot of times when people hear Shakespeare, they think that's centuries ago. I know you and I had spoken before too. Sometimes we adapt Shakespeare and then change it to more recent dress, and it still works because those issues that people wrestle with are relevant today.
Oh, certainly. And the Bard, he wrote about just human emotions, human situations. This person in love or jealousy in this situation.
That's right.
And that's all it is. So Globe has done many Shakespearean performances where they've placed it in 1930 New Orleans or the 1950s and the clothes from that period, and it's the exact script, and it's amazing to see just how well it fits, and it's a timeless pieces of work.
Michael, thank you for being a guest here on the show. I know you and I both love live theater. We're both Marines, and we're both talking about it on television. But there's one thing we could close out with is to encourage people to go consume live theater or engage in these programs that bring theater to them.
Yes, indeed. I would highly encourage that. It's life-changing, I would say.
Michael, you're a friend of the show, and you're welcome back anytime.
All right, thank you.
That was Michael Taylor, a Homefront hero, here on Homefront.
I came into my transition with an extremely short timeline, and I didn't have the resources or the knowledge to know what I needed to do or where I needed to be looking for my next job. THF gave me direction, helped me look inside myself, and made me ultimately successful in taking that leap from the military sector over into the civilian sector.
Welcome back to the Homefront Finance section. I'm your host, AJ Brooks, here in the studio with my good friend, Jim Shelley. Jim, thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here.
Jim, you were in the business world for 35 years, is that right?
Yes, 35 years in the banking world.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about how you got into that industry.
Well, I was, when I was looking for a job, it was back in the 70s, and actually you could get a job when you were an English major, which is what I did.
What do you do with a BA in English?
Exactly.
So you go into banking.
I wasn't even sure what banking was, but somebody told me that they pay bankers to travel around the world and stay in big hotels and travel first class, and I wasn't sure what banking was, but that sounded pretty good.
Was that true?
At the time, yes. And then 35 years later, I'm still doing it. But it was a terrific career. I really enjoyed it.
So there's all kinds of different ways of building wealth. There's equity in a home, and then there's also wealth in the soul. And you also pursued a project outside of banking. You took an evening class about filmmaking. Is that right?
Absolutely. I was always interested on an amateur level in filmmaking and photography, and I kept that alive because, as you say, for the soul. I mean, how do you refresh yourself? How do you keep yourself rejuvenated and new? And so when I retired from banking after 35 years. I couldn't see myself clipping coupons on the beach.
Right.
Due to technology these days, I figured out that I might be able to start a little film company. And went back to school, went to UCSD, and they had a one-year program in film production.
Now, was that Jody Silley that was teaching
Yes,
the program? Now, she's
that's
a
right.
patron saint of the film community
That's
here in
right,
San Diego,
yes.
and she's a friend of the show.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Jody ran that program for UCSD.
So she got you on the hook, you got bit by the film bug. You know, the Homefront Finance section, we try to talk about how to build wealth, but also how to spend money wisely.
Right.
A lot of times hobbies are expensive, and people hear filmmaking and they think, you've got to have a lot of money to do production. And that's still true to some degree, but you can make a great film without spending a lot of money.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's changed quite a bit. You know, today with today's cameras, you can spend, you know, a few $1,000s and get the same kind of production value in a camera that 15 years ago would have been, you know, several $100,000. You used to have to cut movies in. You needed to rent an editing suite.
Right.
Today you can do it on your laptop. You know, to get your film scored, you used to need symphony orchestras and that kind of thing. Today, you can do it online with a composer who uses a laptop. So technology has really helped a filmmaker be able to put out a really good quality product at a lot less money than it used to cost.
So speaking of a quality product, you made a film called American Umpire.
Yes, sir.
Like baseball.
Like baseball, exactly.
And there was a play on the idea of an American empire.
Yes, it was a play on the term American Empire, which is a term that we're trying to dispel. It's a documentary, and it talks about how we've become the world's policeman, how we became that policeman, and whether we have to do it forever. We wanted to stay away from the word policeman in the film because they're tropes, and we think Umpire was actually a better reflection of the role that the American federal government had played with the states and how that morphed after the Second World War into a role that the U.S. federal government played in the free world.
Now, I've seen the film. I was a member of the GI Film Festival committee last year, and your film won an award there.
Yes, the best documentary short for the film.
And that documentary is just under an hour. It's sort of designed for PBS, right?
That's right. Yeah, it was broadcast on PBS nationally last year. 92% of all PBS stations broadcast it.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was about 1.4 million households, so it was pretty nice. But when you do broadcast, there are a lot of parameters. One is time.
Right.
Luckily, with PBS, they don't have as many commercial breaks, but you had to have a very specific time slot.
Now, you entered into some interesting partnerships to get the film made.
Yes.
One of the big gets you got early on was the former Secretary of State, George Shultz.
Yes, absolutely. Stanford University and Stanford University's Hoover Institution was a big supporter of the film. Secretary Shultz was very engaged in the project. And once you get an interview with the caliber of George Shultz, other interviews follow. That's easier to
You were able to
do.
get Dr. Rice on the show also.
Yes, Condoleezza Rice, who's also up at Stanford as well in the Hoover Institution, and their interest was in the debate about American foreign policy and American military intervention. Very involved in it, and want to make sure that we have a discussion that's not news bites and tweets.
Madeleine Albright signed on to be part of your film as well.
Madeleine Albright. We had 3 secretaries of state, Madeleine Albright, Dr. Rice, and George Shultz. We also had Jim Mattis, who at the time was not Secretary of Defense.
He was still Mad Dog back then.
Mad Dog Mattis, although apparently he told us he preferred not to be called Mad Dog, that he preferred the word chaos. So I guess...
Just like Deion Sanders really didn't like Neon Deion. He liked prime time.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but you don't get to pick your own nickname. That's not how that works.
Exactly.
Even if you're the general.
But we really wanted to approach this from a policy perspective. So we wanted to get, foreign policy experts, academics, no politicians, nobody with an axe to grind, because we really wanted to have a nonpartisan discussion about the issue.
Jim, you did a great job with that.
Thank you.
I'd encourage people to watch the film. It's called American Umpire.
Yes, and you can go to our website, www.americanumpire.com, also Facebook page. It will be on Netflix within a month. Hopefully, with broadcast, you have to wait before you can get it onto Netflix. And it's also available for schools and libraries at filmsmedia.com.
Well, you did a great job of explaining how we did that. Thanks for joining us here on the show.
Sure.
That was Jim Shelley, the filmmaker for The American Umpire, here on Homefront Finance.
Hey, welcome back to Homefront. I'm your host, Eve Nasby, and we are in our Homefront Family section with Tony Teravainen from Support the Enlisted Project, otherwise known as STEP. Tony, welcome.
Thank you.
We're
Glad to be
so
here.
excited that you are here. You've got such a great story. So let's talk about STEP. You're helping people get financially stable, those who are in the military who are in financial crisis. You reach out and give them a hand up. So talk about STEP and the foundations of that.
Yeah, well, STEP, or Support the Enlisted Project, was really born out of the idea that we could do better by our military families. We ask a lot of these families, and unfortunately, we put them in positions where they're not really set up for the best success possible. That's even during military service and as they transition out of the service.
Yes.
So STEP's idea really is a financial support. Our job is to stop a loss of a basic necessity for these military families and transitioning veterans. And we do that through a counseling program, financial counseling, that revolves around a social work approach and change management approach. Really, how do we empower families to make a change? How do we do an intervention in how they spend their money and how they see money in this culture and environment?
And you've got families out there that I don't think a lot of our viewers understand are really in financial crisis. Talk about the lower ranks of the military and how they're under the poverty level.
Well, yeah, there's, in Southern California here, I guess San Diego specifically, there's 85,000 what we call junior enlisted, so E1 through E6, that's the lower 6 pay grades. And over 60% of them live below the HUD low-income cutoff level.
That's amazing.
And 30% of them actually rely on food assistance regularly to feed their families.
And you know, so you've got a high cost of living here in San Diego,
Right.
You've got a low rate of pay, plus you've got a spouse and kids, and sometimes you just need help. And P.S., nobody's teaching you how to budget.
That's really where the STEP piece comes in.
Right.
You know, to be eligible for our services, they actually have to be in a financial crisis, a verifiable loss. So documentation that says, I'm going to lose my car, I'm going to lose my house, I'm losing my utilities, I'm going to run out of food tomorrow, I'm out of diapers, those types of items. And that's really the crux of the beginning of the change, that the person takes the step forward and says, I want this help. Our financial counseling, like I said, is done from a social work perspective with social workers. And we empower them. I mean, the social worker's job is to empower them to make the decisions and changes to get to a monthly budget that works.
Right.
And then take that and then a complete debt reduction plan. I can be out of debt by, August of 2019 or 2020. But you have a date, they become empowered, they know they can make it.
And it gives them hope.
Right. It gives them hope,
So,
sure. And then
yeah.
the question is, though, how do I get them to that next payday when it all is going to be roses and happy days?
Right.
And that's where our grants program comes in. So if we can't find any other way to stop the loss of that house, car, insurance, or utility, we go ahead and pay for that. And that's a grant that the family members do not pay back.
It's incredible. So tell us a story.
A
We all love
story?
stories. I know you've got hundreds of them because I think you get 3,500 applications and you've helped about 950 families. So tell us a story.
Well, we get about 950 applications a year, and we're average through there. It's a question. Everyone gets kind of addressed the same way, and we'll work through there. I think over our life, over the last 4.5 years, we've stopped 320 evictions.
Wow.
Where folks come to us in the eviction process.
Yep.
One of the first questions we always ask is, have you called your landlord? And inevitably the answer is, no, because the 3-day pay to quit, it's only been 2 days since they got it. And it's been, it's a very high stress level on these families. So when they call us, it's, I got this 3-day notice 2 days ago. What happens tomorrow? So there's a huge educational component that goes with this. And again, the beauty of using social workers with us is they sit down and really try to communicate on the big picture level and help them understand and educate
And you guys will literally go to the bank, get the cash out, do a cashier's check, give it to the landlord so that person can stay in that home as they're looking for work or getting financially stable. And then you also walk them through a financial plan. You put them on a budget, you help intervene and prevent the cycle from happening again.
Yeah, exactly. We do what needs to be done. My number one value at the office is to do the right thing. And since we're completely privately funded, we have the ability to do that, what is right. We're not really handcuffed by a lot of state or federal regulations on how we define homelessness or
right. No
whether this
bureaucracy.
person fits this square box because
Right.
they're a round peg or those types of things.
And
we
you're
do what's
super
right.
nimble. So other agencies are coming to you saying, hey, Tony, we can't help this person. Can you help them? And then
Correct.
you guys are right there to
Yeah,
help.
well over 90% of the folks that come to us are from personal referral from a friend, their military supervisor, or other military support agencies that they go to.
Incredible. And you've got other projects around you, and one of my favorites is the car program, so talk about that.
Sure. Well, the Emergency Financial Assistance Program is our main program, and that's really what we're all about, and we like to focus everything we can on that. But we have to do other programs to involve the community. So we have a warehouse full of donated goods that we give away for free.
Wow.
We have Christmas programs and Thanksgiving programs. And we recently, last year or so, got a partner through the Recycled Rides program.
Wow.
And what we've been able to do is give away, I think Memorial Day, they're trying to give away cars 11 and 12
My goodness.
to deserving military and veteran families.
And these are cars that were totaled, and then you have volunteers, collision centers, parts people that all come together, and they rebuild these cars and then donate them to a family in need.
Right.
I love it.
It's a national program. Through Southern California, STEP's become kind of the go-to agency.
Yep.
For the Recycled Rides people to go to if they wanted to go to a military or a veteran family. So I think the two on Memorial Day are slated for veterans they're two Marine Corps veterans. One's Inland Empire and one's here in San Diego.
Awesome.
And they're both working on their transition, so we're going to give them a boost with a car that they couldn't get otherwise.
So great. Well, we are running out of time, but I know that there's folks out there that want to give money because that's how you're funded. You're a nonprofit, and we want to support you. So tell us how we can do that.
Well, everything goes back to the website, so that's stepsocal.org.
And you have a golf tournament coming up?
We do have a golf tournament coming up, so that's June 23rd at 8 a.m., so it's a morning event with drink tickets. Figure that one out. That'll be out at Salt Creek. We're doing that in conjunction with United Through Reading. You can find information for that or sign up on our website, again, stepsocal.org. And then we actually have a fundraiser coming up here May 24th and 25th. It's a 24-hour fundraising campaign where it's a quadruple match. So if somebody donates $100, I have 3 other donors. They're going to put in $100 at that same time, so it becomes $400.
All right, Tony, thank you so much. Support the Enlisted Project is a worthy cause, and we're always going to jump on your website and donate that money. And we're going to go play golf. So thanks for being a part of our show.
Well, thank you very much.
We will be right back with our real estate segment with Joel, who's going to talk about our home of the week. Don't go away.
I came into my transition with an extremely short timeline, and I didn't have the resources or the knowledge to know what I needed to do or where I needed to be looking for my next job. THF gave me direction, helped me look inside myself, and made me ultimately successful in taking that leap from the military sector over into the civilian sector.
Welcome back to Homefront. My name is Joel Hernandez. I'm going to be doing the homeownership segment today, and I'm the branch manager at the San Marcos branch over here at Synergy One Lending. And so for those who don't know me, I'm a huge advocate of homeownership, and I specialize in doing VA loans. And I'm really happy to talk to my special guest, Durrell Thomas from San Marcos Real Estate Company. We've been working together for a long time.
Yeah.
One of my favorite people and favorite realtors. Durrell's got an awesome property that he wants to talk about today. So Durrell, tell us about this home.
So this home is a multi-generational home over in Reedy Creek in Escondido,
One of
California.
my favorite golf courses.
It's 3,400 square feet. It has a full bedroom and bathroom downstairs for extended guests or for family members who have to stay with you. It's 3 full bedrooms upstairs with a loft, basically great man cave, or it could be a 5th bedroom. House got a 3-car garage overlooking the 9th hole. Private gated community of 20 homes. Perfectly situated in Escondido on the Reedy Creek Elementary School District as well.
Awesome. And what's the price point on this place?
Price is like $784, so it's really affordable.
Okay, awesome. Well, $784, I want to bring this up because with most veterans, they're probably going to know a couple of things about VA loans, such as they're more flexible, There's no down payment if you stay below the 612,950.
Right.
And it's a lot easier to qualify for, awesome interest rates, limited closing costs. So a lot of huge benefits to VA loans, but what a lot of vets probably don't know about is that you can even do a loan bigger than the county limit as well too. So for my veterans, you can go to 612,950 without a down payment, but if you go above that 612,950, it's still possible to get that, purchase a home like this if you put down 25% of the difference between the sales price and the county limit. So most jumbo buyers are going to be looking at putting 10% down, which would be like 78 grand. So for our VA buyers, if they qualify, if their income is great and everything looks good, they can do this. They can purchase the same home for about a $42,700 down payment. So it's a little bit less, like around half of what it would be if you were doing a jumbo loan.
Gotcha.
And not only that, it's a lot more flexible, great interest rates. So it's an awesome way to buy a home out here as well too, without having to put so much money for a down payment. So definitely a huge benefit. And so how can we get some more information about this property and about yourself?
Well, just for this property alone, it has its own website, 122eagleglen.com. And to find out more information about homes in San Diego and San Marcos and Escondido, go to gohomesd.com, and for all of your real estate searching needs up in North County.
Awesome. And like I said, VA loans, awesome way to purchase a property. Like I said, there's so many benefits to them, and what makes me sad is that there's just so much misinformation about them. So if you ever have any questions about how you can get pre-approved, what it's going to take, where do your credit scores have to be, how can I qualify for this home, you can always reach out to me. My number is 760-655-1409. My name is Joel Hernandez. I'd love to help you out. And for your real estate needs, definitely reach out to Durrell Thomas as well. We'd love to help you. And we'll be back with some more Homefront. Thank you very much.
Welcome back to Homefront. AJ, wow, another great show.
It was a fantastic show.
I love Tony and the STEP Project. They're doing such a great work. They've got that golf tournament coming up. I think we should all join them. And
I didn't know it was an
Get
acronym,
busy.
Support the Enlisted Project.
yeah, they're amazing.
We also had Michael Taylor on the show from
Yes.
the Old Globe Board. He was fantastic. A passion
Fascinating.
for theater after being a professional archaeologist led to a new calling.
Who knew? And then you also had another great guest.
I sure did. Jim Shelley,
Yep,
after 35
Jim.
years in the business world, got into filmmaking, is now pursuing a Master in Fine Arts. It proves it's never too late to pursue a project or a passion of your own.
Yeah, and you know what? We've got so many great people here in San Diego that we really need you guys to come in and tell us who we need to see. So reach out to us on Facebook and reach out to us on other social media. We've got homefrontmedia.org. And until next week.
From all of us here at Channel 4, I'm AJ Brooks. You stay classy, San Diego.